franchise. Back from the first movie is director Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland. A great pairing who made an amazing movie in that first 28 Days Later. It changed the game as far as zombie movies go, and it had a worthy sequel and follow-up in 28 Weeks Later, which I might be in the minority with, but I think it might actually surpass 28 Days Later. But it's nice to see a new movie added to the franchise, and with 28 years later, they take some big swings. They get a little ambitious, and not everything works all that well. This movie, unfortunately for me, was a little bit of a disappointment. There's great things here. There's really good ideas, really interesting things that they try to do in this movie. I don't think a lot of it works. I do think some of it works, but the big swings that they take feel at times tonally different. There's some tonal shifts in this movie that feel way out of left field at times, and it just doesn't seem like it flows all that well together versus what the other two movies did. This also doesn't feel like the other two movies in this franchise, which is fine. This can kind of be more of a standalone thing, but if you're going to insert it into the 28 franchise, you kind of want it to be a little bit more similar. Yeah, sure, there's people running around with the rage virus and things like that, but a lot of the elements here play differently, and this doesn't feel like it fits into that same world, whereas like when 28 Weeks Later came out, it felt like a direct follow-up to 28 Days Later. This feels like something different, and while it does offer a lot of blood, a lot of violence, a lot of carnage, which is all great and all that stuff works really well, there's times where it gets into some weird territory. It gets philosophical at points. There's points where it has some genuine heart, which I did not expect, and that was really cool to see because it actually plays into some of the characters in the movie and gives them a lot more depth than I would have ever expected out of a movie that's, essentially a zombie movie. And there's times where it gets into some weird, crazy, batshit, crazy comedy and zaniness that I did not expect from this movie. And it just feels like a lot of different ideas didn't get melded well together. And this movie's broken up into two parts. There's kind of a first half that feels like one movie, and then the second half feels like a completely different movie. You have characters that obviously overlap between the two, but in the end, it doesn't feel like it flows all that well together. There are things that are great as far as like some of the cinematography I think works really well, especially with some of the kills that happen in the movie. The movie looks really good, like it's shot beautifully and everything like that. All the performances here are fantastic. Aaron Taylor Johnson, great here, as he is in pretty much anything. Ray Fiennes, man, he's not in the movie a ton. He plays a very interesting character in the movie, but once he's there and you really get to find the depth in his character, absolutely fantastic. Something I did not expect to see from a movie like this. And you also have Jodie Comer, who is, I don't think I've seen her in too much, but she does a really fantastic job here in the movie as well. But the biggest surprise and the biggest star of the movie is the main star, who's not even any of the people that I just named, which is crazy. This movie solely focuses on a young boy played by Alfie Williams. This kid does an amazing job. He puts a lot of this movie on his shoulders and he runs with it effortlessly. I look forward to seeing what this kid does in the future, because if this is any indication of how good of an actor he is, it's going to be great to see where he goes in the future, because he does a fantastic job and he is the sole focus and the sole thing keeping this movie running. Because a lot of the other stuff, like I said, it works to varying degrees, but it feels like it goes away from certain things at times. Like it feels like at times it forgets about the rage virus and does this other stuff, which is fine, but then you have to bring the rage virus back in, and it feels like it doesn't really flow all that way well together. And I guess that's my biggest issue with the movie, is that the flow of it, the pacing, if you will, just doesn't seem all that well put together. And for a movie like this, it seems like that should be a very easy thing to put together. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy this movie. There's lots that I did like I said, with the performances. The blood and gore is off the charts in this one. There's some intense moments that get crazy. And yeah, overall, I think I enjoyed it more than I didn't. it's a movie that I'm probably gonna have to let marinate for a little bit longer to kind of really know where I stand on it. I'm probably gonna have to watch it, at least another time or two to really hone in on my thoughts and everything. But ultimately, where I stand at now, I think the movie is good, but it has a lot of flaws that keep it from being great. And to me, it's a disappointment just because I expected it to be great like those other two movies in the franchise. And I wasn't really satisfied with it when it came to the end like that. I will say this movie also ends on a insane note because I guess they went ahead and announced that this is going to be a new trilogy. And because of that, the end of the movie has to set up the next movie. And it feels so tacked on. It feels straight out of left field the way they end this movie and introduce a new character and people with him. And oh my gosh, when you see it, you're gonna either love it or you're gonna absolutely hate it. I unfortunately land on the hate side. I was not a big fan of the way this movie ended. I kind of wish it would have just found a good stopping place, ended there. You want to pick it up, in the sequel, by all means go ahead. But the way that they shoehorn in this ending just feels unnecessary, and I was not a big fan of it. But that's me personally. If you enjoy it, that's cool. It just didn't really work for me. But overall, I think I would give 28 Years Later a 6 out of 10. It's above average, but like I said, it has a lot of elements that I just do not think work all that well. And in comparison to the other two movies in the franchise, it definitely is the weakest one so far. We'll see where they go with this sequel, and I guess inevitably the sequel to follow up that one, since I guess this is a trilogy. We'll see where it goes, but until now, I will revisit this movie at a point in time and see if it holds up or if I end up liking it better. But as of right now, it's perfectly fine, but I was honestly wanting more out of it. That's about it for me, guys. If you get the chance to see 28 Years Later, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews, rankings, all kinds of good stuff. I'll leave all my links down below on where you can follow me and check out more of my reviews. And until next time, I'll catch you all later.